Hello students, welcome to you all in my YouTube channel Biology Squared. Myself Dr. Preeti Srivastava, JNV Godda. I am also beloved by a mem of students of JNV Giridih and JNV Hansdiha. Today I am confined with class 12 and this lesson is related to chapter 1. The remaining part of chapter 1 I will discuss today in this lesson. Dear children, I have discussed about the sexuality in organism, unisexual, bisexual. I had told you so many terms. So today let me explain one more thing, that is bisexual organism. In plants you may use some more terms. The bisexual means it may contain male reproductive organ as well as female reproductive organ both. This is bisexual, and I had told you so many terms in previous lesson. This bisexual may be also termed as hermaphrodite. You may also use the term hermaphrodite. There are so many flowers which are hermaphrodite. You may take the example of China rose. Also it contains stamen as well as pistil also. In animals also you may get very interesting example of earthworm as well as tapeworm. You had studied in detail in class 11th. Earthworm, that is Pheretima posthuma, and tapeworm, that is Taenia solium. Earthworm is also bisexual, tapeworm is also bisexual, but there is difference in the mode of fertilization. Earthworm cannot perform self-fertilization, whereas tapeworm is able to perform self-fertilization. It perform cross-fertilization. It is very important question also. And tapeworm will perform self-fertilization. Why there is such difference? Because earthworm is protoandry. Protoandry means male gamete or male reproductive organ matures first. It produces sperm first, and ovary is not matured in that particular period. Therefore, it is protoandry, and due to the maturation of sperms, it need cross fertilization. Whereas there is synchronization in the development of ovum as well as sperm in case of tapeworm. So this is the main difference in their mode of fertilization. However, both are hermaphrodite. So this is very important term. You should remember this term also. Let us go ahead. There is some more term in plants. The plant may be unisexual, and the plant may be either staminate or it may be pistillate. Either staminate or pistillate. Staminate means presence of stamen only. Only there is presence of male sex organ, and in case of pistillate flower, these are the different kind of flower in plant which are unisexual. Staminate and pistillate. The pistillate plant, pistillate flower will contain pistil only, female sex organ only, and papaya is very good example of such plant which is either staminate or it is pistillate. So let us now see some basic phenomenon which are involved in gamete formation, and you should always focus in this term which is involved in reproduction, that is cell division. Dear students, cell division is also involved in asexual reproduction, that is mitosis type. In mitosis, the number of chromosome in parent cell is equal to that of daughter cell. So this is equational division, and this occurs in case of asexual reproduction. However, this also constitutes a part in the sexual reproduction, but for the formation of gamete, there is actually the involvement of meiosis. Meiosis means formation of haploid gametes, formation of haploid cells. The cells, from one cell, 4 cells develop and each are haploid. And you are well aware diploid and haploid terms. Diploid means 2 sets of chromosomes are present, whereas haploid means single set of chromosomes may be present. Now, one more thing we have to consider during sexual reproduction. You must have studied in class 11th about different forms of life cycle like haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle. So let us see, in case of haploid parent or in case of haploid organism, what happen? The parent are haploid. So the parent will produce gamete by the mitosis division. Mitotically, the gamete will be produced. And these gametes further unite together and they will form diploid zygote, and further this diploid zygote will undergo division and it will develop into various spores which will develop into young individual. So this is the method involved in the organism which are haploid in their appearance. Now let us see the another one, or you may see the diploid organism, what they perform. In case of diploid parent are containing 2 sets of chromosome. So for the formation of gamete, what happens? First of all, the cell, or you also are well aware that testis and ovary, there are organs, or in case of plants, stamen and pistil, they are forming gametes. So these are diploid one. So first of all, these will multiply by means of multiplicative division. First of all, the cell will increase in number and it is called as multiplicative division, and in multiplicative division they will give rise to diploid cell only, and this diploid cell will further undergo meiosis. This will undergo meiosis, cell division, and it will form the haploid gamete. From a single cell, 4 cells appear. So always remember this concept. From single diploid cell, 4 haploid cells appear, and the cell which will undergo meiosis, these cells are treated as meiocyte. So please don't confuse what is meiocyte. Always, or there are several times question asked based on the meiocyte. Give the meiocyte which are present in the formation of pollen grains or some other case. So this is very important one. So please go through this term meiocyte. What is meiocyte? It is nothing but diploid cell which will undergo meiosis, and after meiosis haploid gametes will develop. Haploid cell will develop. Either these will get converted into different forms, or this will modify into another male gametes. So let us go ahead So this cell division is very important one. Based upon this cell division, there is formation of gamete, and the process is known as gametogenesis. Gametogenesis. What is gametogenesis? It is genesis of gamete. Genesis of gamete, or you may clearly say it is also may be treated as formation of gamete. So based upon the sex, gametogenesis may be of two kinds. This gametogenesis may be either spermatogenesis. Spermatogenesis term is used if there is formation of sperms, or in case of plants, the term may be utilized as microsporogenesis. Actually, in nature, male gametes are always smaller than the female gamete. Male gametes are microspore, and in case of plants we use the term here microsporogenesis, that is the formation of microspore in the form of pollen grain. In human being you have to study spermatogenesis, and these are nothing but it is gametogenesis. In case of female there is oogenesis, the formation of ovum. Oogenesis is common term, or you may use the term in case of plants as megasporogenesis. Megasporogenesis. Female gametes are megaspore. This is larger in size. In nature, female gamete is larger than the male gamete. Always you should develop a concept that male gamete, either in case of plants or in case of animals or human being, male gamete has to transfer the chromosome only to the female gamete, and by the union of these two chromosomes further there will be development of zygote, and that zygote is getting nourishment by means of that ovum cytoplasm. Ovum is also containing more cytoplasm than the sperm, than the microspore or pollen grain, because it has to nourish the developing this zygote, which will have to convert into embryo. During embryogenesis, this will provide nourishment to the developing zygote. So these are the concepts for sexual reproduction. Now this zygote, which is very important one, never forget, zygote is linked. Zygote is single celled structure which is diploid one, and this is a connecting link. What is it? It is connecting link in between one generation to another generation. Always remember, zygote is connecting link between one generation to another generation, isn't it? So this is very a good concept, and this is the zygote actually, which is the beginning of an organism which is performing sexual reproduction. So this is about the zygote, and then what happened after this zygote formation? There will be development of embryo. This zygote will develop into embryo. Embryogenesis will occur. There is a process phenomenon involved which is known as embryogenesis, and this embryogenesis involves the processes which you have studied in class 11th also. Just recall, there is cell differentiation. Cell division will occur in zygote, vigorous cell division will occur in zygote, and there is differentiation. there may be redifferentiation of the cell, and further the cell may be, or you can say, suppose it is a zygote. This zygote will divide and divide in so many cells, and further each cell will contain their fate map. They have their fate map. They have to develop in cotyledon, they have to develop in radicule, plumule, in case of plants, or it has to make root, shoot, leaves. But in case of animals, the fate is also determined, and cell has to make various organs like heart, brain, kidney, etc. So fate map is determined, and this process, the formation of embryo by means of cell differentiation. Cell differentiation is the major phenomenon involved in embryogenesis. And after this formation of embryogenesis, there will be development or growth and development of embryo into young individual. So these are the phenomenon. Now, dear students, in case of placental mammals, there are some cyclical changes in the female placental mammal. These perform some other phenomena. Female placental mammals, they may be of two kinds. One may be non-primate and another is the category of primate. I think you have clearly studied during the class 11th. Non-primate means which have no opposite thumb, but this primate contains opposite thumb. Thumb is opposite and it is the main difference. So non-primate may include tiger, cow, rat. These are the examples. So remember this. These are very important examples. Shapes are also example of non-primate mammals, whereas in case of primate mammals, these may be apes, monkey, human being also. Just I had told you the difference between non-primate and primate. These perform, the female mammal of this group perform oestrus cycle. There is a cycle which is known as oestrus cycle. What happened during oestrus cycle? There is cyclical changes occur due to the hormonal administration. Various hormonal changes occur in the female body leading to heat period and which will end after giving birth to the young one or after bearing pregnancy. So this is oestrus cycle. This happens only on the onset of favorable condition, and the oestrus cycle end with the pregnancy, with the birth of the young one. This is the main feature of oestrus cycle, and though it occurs in the favorable season, therefore these group are also treated as seasonal breeder. This aspect is very, very important in this chapter. These are treated as seasonal breeder also. Differences may be asked in the examination. Differentiate oestrus cycle and menstrual cycle. Just I am going to tell you about that also, and differences between seasonal breeder as well as this form, this type of breeder. And this primate, these perform menstrual cycle. This is also a hormonal changes, cyclical hormonal changes which make the female placental mammal primate able to bear pregnancy. It make them able. It does not end with the pregnancy. It may end with pregnancy. So it make them able to produce ova, and therefore, but this is continuous process. This is cyclical changes occur in every month at the regular interval, and therefore it is treated as menstrual cycle, and the species are also known as continuous breeder. these are treated as continuous breeder because this cycle is periodic. It does not depend upon the favorable season and therefore it is having continuity, and the species are also treated as continuous breeder. So this is very important term in class 12. Now there are some more events. In case of animals, depending upon the formation of zygote, either inside the female body or outside the female body, there may be two category of animals. They may be oviparous, in which zygote is formed outside the body, and they may be viviparous. You may also define them as egg-laying animals. They lay eggs, whereas viviparity means giving birth to the young one. So, but you may also consider the mode of formation of zygote either inside the female body, that is viviparity, or outside the female body, that is oviparity. The species which are showing oviparity, they have to lay more number of eggs due to challenges which they have to face during the climatic disturbances or due to the enemy, etc. So these are very important and precious terms. Now one thing which I want to tell you, in case of animals which are viviparous, the species or zygote, further it will grow inside the maternal body, and inside the maternal body the species, or suppose in case of human being, the embryo is developing inside the maternal body, isn't it? The child is developing inside the mother body. What happened in the plant? In plants, you will study, I will tell you in next chapter, that is sexual reproduction in angiospermic plant. What happens inside the ovary, in this ovule, there is formation of zygote and formation of embryo. Embryo develop inside the ovule. This embryo will develop into young individual on the onset of favorable condition, and this ovule will develop into seed and the ovary will develop into fruit. Always remember, and this is the embryo, and embryo will develop into young individual on the onset of favorable condition, isn't it? So these are the concept. You will get so many diagram in the last page of this chapter. Please practice those also in the examination. The labeling is being asked. Suppose if you will cut a cucumber also, you may see that there are seeds. Seeds are present in the fruit, and the outer part is treated as pericarp. The outside of the outer cover of the fruit is treated as pericarp, and these are the seeds. So this is very important diagram. Please go through it. So these are all concepts related to the reproduction. So in next chapter we will discuss in detail about the reproduction in plants, the reproduction in human being in the next chapter further. So these are very important topic and very interesting one also. And one more thing you always remember, dear children, I used to tell my students that everything are going on inside the living organism which we express in our society, either discovery or any phenomenon related to some our culture also. So we will discuss in next chapter. I will correlate and you will remember it very easily. So please go through this chapter, and this is the lockdown period also. So please stay safe, use mask, use kada also, and keep 1 meter distance at least with the two persons. These are forever. Always maintain, because in this coming era we have to face so many challenges. There are so many, you may say, the adverse situations which may have to arrive also, and one by one we have to face various challenges. So make this habit and never afraid of the situation. Keep learning always up, though it is lockdown period. Don't worry at all. In continuity we are going one by one chapter we will study, and in different lessons I will stratify the portion. Please go through it, and in the last of the unit I will give you some important questions also. But till then, please go for the solution of the questions for NCERT textbook. Dear students, this is the Biology Squared. I am your bio ma'am, you are my children. So please go through it, like it, subscribe it. Bye.